Vietnam was once ravaged by war, left in ruins, and struggling to survive. This is one of the countries transforming into one of the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia. From its strategic location and young dynamic workforce to the government's innovative policies and the influx of foreign investment, we'll uncover the driving forces behind Vietnam's success. The Vietnam War was a terrible and lengthy conflict that lasted from 1955 to 1975. It caused immense destruction throughout the country. Roads, factories, and the lives of Vietnamese people were all greatly affected. It was a brutal and devastating period.
If you're talking about the 80s, what Vietnam looked like, we go to cities, you didn't see the light, electricity cut, no car in the street. Vietnam was so isolated from the world.
When the Vietnam War ended in 1975, Vietnam's economy was one of the poorest in the world. By the mid-1980s, GDP per capita was between $200 and $300. But the Vietnamese people didn't lose hope. They were determined to rebuild their country and create a better future. In the late 1980s, the government made major changes to the economy. These changes were called Doi Moi, which means renovation in Vietnamese. The Doi Moi reforms opened Vietnam to foreign investment and allowed the economy to become more free market oriented. It was a turning point for Vietnam. It set the stage for the country's amazing growth and success. Vietnam's economy has grown in the past 20 years by 6 to 7% every year. Its economic growth rivals China. The country's GDP per capita increased nearly tenfold from under $300 in the 1980s to $2,800 in 2020. That's an incredible achievement, especially considering all the economic challenges in the world. Foreign companies have also been pouring money into Vietnam. In 2019 alone, the country attracted over $16 billion in foreign investment. Businesses are increasingly choosing Vietnam to supplement their China operations with low-cost inputs from production facilities in a nearby alternate market. Vietnam's exports have also been skyrocketing. The country has become a major player in global supply chains, exporting everything from textiles and electronics to agricultural products. The percentage of Vietnam's exports to the United States increased from 19.7% in 2010 to 23.2% in 2019, and to China from 10.7% in 2010 to 15.7% in 2019. This export-driven growth has been a crucial part of Vietnam's economic transformation.
If you use the analogy, Vietnam's economy as an eagle flying up, there are two wings. One is internal institutional reform, and the other is opening to trade.
Khi mà nhà nước mà quyết định đổi mới thì là một cái thay đổi rất lớn của một cái nền kinh tế hoàn toàn là rất là yếu ớt và nghèo nàn. Và lương thực thì không đủ.
The government allowed the agricultural sector and also state-owned enterprises to start operating on a commercial basis, and that was a major shift.
Key drivers of economic growth. So, what are the key reasons behind Vietnam's remarkable economic success? First, the government has focused on industrialization and boosting exports. They have worked hard to attract foreign companies and invest in infrastructure. This has turned Vietnam into a major manufacturing center. Vietnam's young and hard-working population has also been a huge asset. With a median age of just 30, the country has a large pool of skilled and motivated workers. Another important factor is Vietnam's location. Situated in the heart of Southeast Asia, close to China, the country has become a hub for global supply chains. This strategic position has allowed Vietnam to build strong relationships with trading partners and benefit from regional economic cooperation. Vietnam's economic success is built on the strength of its many different industries. Manufacturing, especially in textiles, electronics, and automobiles, has been a major driver of growth. Vietnam's low-cost labor, good location, and investment in infrastructure have all helped make its manufacturing sector thrive. But Vietnam's economy is not just about manufacturing. The country's agriculture sector, producing things like rice, coffee, and seafood, have also played a big role in its progress. And the services sector, including tourism and IT outsourcing, has also been booming. One of the most impressive things about Vietnam's growth is how it has used its network of free trade agreements to boost its exports. The country has made trade agreements with various partners, from China and the European Union to the United States. These agreements have opened up new markets for Vietnamese goods and services. Vietnam's goods sold worldwide will keep getting bigger in the future. This is because many big companies are moving some of their factories out of China and into Vietnam. It will help Vietnam's economy to grow faster than other countries in the ASEAN region. The World Bank's projection for Vietnam's economic growth is from 5.3% to 7.2%, the highest figure for any nation in East and Southeast Asia. The country has become an important player in global trade in recent years. For example, it has quickly taken over a bigger share of the electronics that the United States buys from other countries. It's now one of the U.S.'s top suppliers of electronics. In trade with the U.S., Vietnam always enjoys a surplus, which increased 4.5-fold in 2010 to 2019, and a lot of Chinese companies are investing more in setting up factories in Vietnam. The ongoing tension of trade between U.S. and China is actually helping Vietnam's trade and foreign investment keep growing. The country has one of the best business environments. It has low labor costs and flexible labor laws, which make it a very attractive place for companies to set up. Sustainable Development Goals. As Vietnam has grown richer, the country has also worked hard to address social and environmental challenges. For example, the poverty rate in Vietnam has dropped dramatically, from around 58% in the 1990s to just 5.8% in 2020. This progress shows the government's efforts to make everyone benefit from the country's growth, not just the rich. In the World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report, Vietnam moved up from 77th place in 2006 to 55th place in 2017. In the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings, Vietnam climbed from 104th place in 2007 up to 68th place in 2017. According to the World Bank, Vietnam made a lot of progress in areas like enforcing contracts, making it easier to get credit and electricity, paying taxes, and trading with other countries. All of those investments in people and infrastructure paid off for Vietnam. With the right policies in place to attract businesses, Vietnam has become a major hub for foreign investment and manufacturing in Southeast Asia. Big electronics companies from Japan and Korea like Samsung, LG, Olympus, and Pioneer have set up factories in Vietnam. Challenges and opportunities. Even with all its success, Vietnam still faces some challenges. One issue is that the benefits of growth haven't been shared equally. There is still income inequality in the country. Infrastructure problems, like issues with transportation and logistics, have also held back further development. However, the opportunities for Vietnam to keep growing and diversifying are plentiful. The country's young, tech-savvy population and strategic location make it an attractive place for foreign investment. As Vietnam moves up the value chain and explores new industries, sectors like renewable energy, smart manufacturing, and high-tech services could become important drivers of growth. One of the key reasons for Vietnam's economic success has been its embrace of free trade agreements, FTAs. By signing deals with countries and regions around the world, Vietnam has opened up new markets for its goods and services. This has helped Vietnamese businesses expand their reach and become more competitive globally. Some of Vietnam's most important FTAs include the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, and the UK-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. These agreements have lowered tariffs and trade barriers, giving Vietnamese exporters better access to huge consumer markets. The impact of these FTAs has made Vietnam's exports skyrocket, with its products becoming increasingly popular worldwide. Sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and services have all benefited from the increased trade and investment flows. Vietnam's economy seems to be similar to China's 10 years ago in terms of the proportion of the middle class, income per capita, and the rate of urbanization. Vietnam will reach the level of per capita income equivalent to China in the next 12 years if the current growth rate is maintained. The story of Vietnam's economic transformation is one of resilience, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of progress. From the ashes of war to the heights of global economic success, the country has proven that with the right blend of prudent policymaking, strategic alliances, and the indomitable spirit of its people, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. As Vietnam continues to write the next chapter of its economic history, the world will be watching with a mix of admiration and anticipation, eager to see what this dynamic and rapidly evolving nation will achieve next. Vietnam's economic success is a shining example of what can be achieved when a country is willing to embrace change and seize new opportunities. Its story is one of resilience, determination, and an unwavering commitment to a brighter future. World Bank President Jim Yong Kim. What do you think about Vietnam's economic future growth? Share your thoughts in the comment sections below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Economic Insight videos.